Well, yep, another day, guys, huh? Oh, geez, yeah, we did it, guys. Another day, huh? Dude, this morning, or really, yeah, it was in the morning. Technically, it was like 11 a.m. I could not wake up. When you like keep waking up and you're having a dream, but every time you fall back to sleep, you continue like the same dream at the same moment you were at, like when you were asleep. So you like continue, you stay in that same story of whatever dream you're dreaming. Well, my dream last night was, or in this early morning, I was like in my childhood home in the neighborhood, and I was riding my bike, and I had even back then, and in my dream, I had like a Pee Wee Herman style bike, like a Schwinn. I really like those old school bikes, and I was riding down the street, and I saw like a wild koala bear just like at the corner by the street gutter, just looking kind of sad and confused, and I like went to it in my bike and lifted it up like a baby, and then another one showed up, so I took like the two koalas home, and I was just taking care of them and making sure they were safe, like cleaning up any of the poop that they like pooped and stuff, and kept them inside so they'd be safe. I don't know. Yeah, I just couldn't fucking wake up from that dream. So at least it wasn't like a scary dream or anything. But I'm not sure why I was dreaming of koalas. I don't remember seeing anything Australian or anything prior to falling asleep. So yeah, I have no idea why I was dreaming about koalas. Very strange. It could be my medication. Like maybe it's giving me koala vibes or something. Oh, guys, have you seen how people on the internet are offended very easily? It's crazy, huh? It's insane. I had seen that people are starting to consider the word obese a slur on the same level as the N word, which is pretty fucking ridiculous. Because yeah, doctors like medically use the word obese, for overweight. But they don't medically label black people the N word. But then again, I don't know. Like I'm not black, so I haven't like had that happen to me firsthand. Maybe I should ask a doctor, hey, what do you call black people when you medically diagnose them as black, But this reminds me of how people label like retarded a bad word when it's literally like the word for the means of something to be slower. So when doctors would call someone, medically retarded, it meant that they think slower than most people, or, their mind is slower than most. But I'm not saying doctors always got it right. I mean, they're the ones who came up with the idea of like homosexuality being a mental disease when it's just like the way people are born. I don't know. Or maybe it still is a mental disease. Who knows? They just are keeping it on the down low. But now, it's choice, supposedly. I don't know. I don't want to fucking open up that kind of worms right now because that's not really what's going on at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, doctors get shit wrong all the time. Look at this whole vaccine debacle they're going through right now, trying to backtrack on some things that were said or clarify when it's too late because you kind of let the toothpaste out of the tube when you're involved in like the world of medicine and your choices determine whether people live or die. Any sort of doubt or mistakes you may make really have the people against you. But again, back to the word at hand, obese. Dude, it's a medical term. Like if you think of it on the same level as the N word, you're retarded. Obviously, it's not, because if it were, we would call it the O word, and you'd be able to actually say the N word. Like say it in full and not just call it the N word and then know what it means. But man, it must suck to be obese and the N word right now. A lot of pressure on you. Oh, and if you're retarded, jeez, there's the Holy Trinity right there. I don't have really a transition. Speaking of transitions, because I'm trying to transition to a new story about transitioning. Huh? That works, right? There's a dude in Scotland who raped two women, and right before court, he decided to transition to being a woman so that they would put him in a woman's jail instead. And it seems like the court is not falling for it. Like, so they plan to put the transition woman into a man's jail. That sounds like some Looney Tunes shit right there, right? Like, he transitioned and the court was like, oh, you're a woman now? Okay, I guess you're going to a woman's jail. Wait a minute. Nah, we aren't falling for that shit here in Scotland. maybe Maybe those dumb Americans are dumb enough to do shit like that, but not here in Scotland. With our fucking haggis and our Guinness and our kilts, I'm pretty in their shillelaghs. I'm pretty sure that's what Scottish people are for. I'm down with Scottish people. Scottish people are nice. You could just see that dude wearing a skirt. It's like, dude, that skirt makes you look like more like a man over here in Scotland than if you tried that shit in America. You wascally little wabbit, you. I don't know. Whatever. I thought that was funny that he tried to pull that little trick and he didn't get it. It's. I wonder if he like actually did want to transition or if he just thought it would like help him not get put in a man's jail and get the shit beat out of him because he fucking raped people. I'd like to get to know you, yes I would. I'd like to get to know you if I could. I'd like to get to know you, know. Well, I can't promise that I'll run away with you. Can't promise that I'll spend the day with you. I can't promise, no, I can't promise that I love you. But I'd like to get to know you. Yes, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to get to know you, know. Have you heard that song? That song's by Spanky and the Gang. It's an old good hit. Fucking great song to sing to a person if you would like to get to know them. Oddly enough. Continue on with more racist shit in the news. People are getting upset with some hashtag on the TikTok called Vanilla Girl Aesthetic, where women, mostly white, if that doesn't like surprise you, dress all white with white pearls and white shoes and just try to look pure and innocent as if they've been baptized. I don't know why this is news. Like, people dress in all black all the time and say it's like a goth girl vibe or whatever it is. It's not like they're all black and they're calling it being African or the N-word or something, You're dressing N-word, N-word aesthetic. Speaking of that, speaking of African, I'm saying some German diplomat is in hot water because they went to Africa to talk about helping out this war between Ukraine and Russia. If you haven't heard about that, I might talked about it before. And they tweeted out, they said, hey, German diplomats are in Africa, but not to see leopards. And then they put like a leopard emoji, but to bluntly claim that Ukraine partners want to destroy everything Russian. And yeah, just them putting the leopard emoji kind of like upset people, some of the people of Africa, because they're like, Africa's more than just known for our zoo or like our wild animals and our safaris and stuff with this emoji you're using, And dude, honestly, like with with all this madness, like when does it stop? Like everyone gets offended so easily or take things to the extreme of a meaning, or they take them completely out of context. Like, this is insane, and that's coming from me, a person who takes so many pills a day that reality is already a bit wishy-washy for me. Countries are getting upset over tweets with emojis. Like, what the fuck is going on in this world? How the fuck do I explain that to my dad? Like, it sounds like goddamn ridiculous. Jesus Christ, Lord and Holy Spirit. Whatever, man. Like, I'll just have to eat some spaghetti and call it a day with that, right? But with basil pesto, do y'all like basil pesto? Do y'all like that shit? I'm starting to prefer basil pesto over marinara. I don't know. Maybe that just happens like when you get older, your tastes change. And for most people on the internet, I guess when you get older, your anus gets softer because you just get butt hurt way more easier, because words hurt, fellas. The irony of it, I feel like back in my day, I grew up, right, a chunky kid, and always being called fat by other kids, and it really hurt. It did when I was, younger, but it helped build like this armor around me for criticism that now I could take any sort of negative feedback or whatever and either brush it off or listen to it and maybe learn from it, I'm rubber and you're glue. Everything bounces off of me and sticks to you. You fucking retards. Anyways, Yeah, that's another episode for today, guys. I just had a doctor's appointment today and got a whole other set of meds. So y'all pray for your boy Lorenzo that the 317th time's the charm with guessing what pills to take, right? And any of you obese people out there hate being called the O word. Sounds like I'm trying to say orgasm, but on like cable TV, when you weren't allowed to say words like that back in my day. Nah, shit, I'm obese right now, and yeah, I concur with like the medical diagnosis. The doctor isn't just hating; she knows I have high blood pressure and I could possibly be diabetic because of being obese. Unless she's like adding wetback to that diagnosis, then I'm not offended. Even though that slur would be true as well, she could medically call me a wetback, and it would make sense. And would you change your gender? Like if it meant you getting a lesser sentence? I'm sure in America, we'd fall for that shit. So yeah, it's always nice to have a little plan B in your back pocket. And have you ever been offended by an emoji? Like I've texted girls my share of peaches and eggplants and squirting emojis and drooly faces, and have yet to really offend anyone, surprisingly. But the night is young, I suppose. Tell me if you've ever gotten in trouble for an emoji in the comments, or just comment some of your favorite emojis. That's always fun too, right? Just leave some comments, yeah. But I want to thank you guys for listening. You're all great. Hope you all are safe, and take care. Bye.